Albert Einstein once said, everybody's a genius. But if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life believing that it is stupid. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, today on trial we have modern day schooling. Glad you could come. Not only does he make fish climb trees, but also makes them climb down and do a 10-mile run. Tell me, school, are you proud of the things you've done? Turning millions of people into robots, do you find that fun? Exhibit A, here's a modern day phone. Recognize it? Here's a phone from 150 years ago. Big difference, right? Stay with me. Here's a car from today, and here's a car from 150 years ago. Big difference, right? Well, get this. Here's a classroom of today, and here's a class we used 150 years ago. Now ain't that a shame? In literally more than a century, nothing has changed. Yet you claim to prepare students for the future? But with evidence like that, I must ask, do you prepare students for the future or the past? I get it. Back then, times were different. We all have a past. I myself am no Gandhi. But today, we don't need to make robot zombies. The world has progressed. And now we need people who think creatively, innovatively, critically, independently, with the ability to connect. See, every scientist will tell you that no two brains are the same. And every parent with 2 or more children will confirm that claim. So please explain why you treat students like cookie-cutter frames or snapback hats, giving them this one-size-fits-all crap.
Watch your language.
Sorry, Your Honor, but if a doctor prescribed the exact same medicine to all of his patients, the results will be tragic. So many people would get sick, yet when it comes to school, this is exactly what happens. This educational...
This guy is very creative.
Teacher stands in front of 20 kids, each one having different strengths, different needs, different gifts, different dreams, and you teach the same thing the same way? That's horrific. It's a shame. I mean, teachers have the most important job on the planet, yet they're underpaid? No wonder so many students are short-changed. Let's be honest, teachers should earn just as much as doctors, because a doctor can do heart surgery and save the life of a kid. But a great teacher can reach the heart of that kid and allow him to truly live. See, teachers are heroes that often get blamed, but they're not the problem. They work in a system without many options or rights. Curriculums are created by policymakers, most of which have never taught a day in their life. Just obsessed with standardized tests. They think bubbling in a multiple choice question will determine success. That's outlandish. In fact, these tests are too crude to be used and should be abandoned, but don't take my word for it. Take Frederick J. Kelly, the man who invented standardized testing, who said, and I quote, "These tests are too crude to be used and should be abandoned." Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, if we continue down this road, the results will be lethal. I don't have much faith in school, but I do have faith in people. And if we can customize healthcare, cars, and Facebook pages, then it is our duty to do the same for education, to upgrade it, change it, do away with school spirit, because that's useless. Unless we're working to bring the spirit out of each and every student, that should be our task. No more Common Core. Instead, let's reach the core of every heart in every class. Sure, math is important, but no more than art or dance. Let's give every gift an equal chance. I know this sounds like a dream, but countries like Finland are doing impressive things. They have shorter school days. Teachers make a decent wage. Homework is non-existent, and they focus on collaboration instead of competition. But here's the kicker, boys and girls. Their educational system outperforms every other country in the world. Because while students may be 20% of our population, they are 100% of our future. So let's attend to their dreams, and there's no telling what we can achieve. This is a world in which I believe, a world where fish are no longer forced to climb trees. I'll rest my case.
Great video.
Good speaker.
Yeah.
Very compelling.
First question: have you ever thought about what this guy's saying about education?
Yeah, I've seen this before, and it's actually very interesting, because I think what's interesting at the beginning, he talks about he's taking education to court, but then he talks about how there are countries that don't do education the way that he's described it.
Yes, that's why I'm a special educator. So, things that he said, for example, the thing about the fish climbing the tree, that's why I became a special educator, because I wanted to be able to help the fish in the class and the turtle in the class and, you know, the ant in the class who are asked to climb this tree, because there are in the class people who can climb the tree, and then there's others who need some help. So that's why I went into special education.
All right. So, what do you think? First of all, what do you think the message being conveyed is?
Well, I think the message in general is just to be reflective about what we're doing in education these days. I think there are a lot of generalities that he talks about. But yeah, I mean, a lot of it is compelling. I think, again, though, some of the data that he uses, you could look into a little bit, try and extract why countries like Singapore, Finland, and Sweden are doing so well. So I think it's just food for thought, We shouldn't be doing what we were doing 150 years ago. Hopefully we're not.
You believe that there were some focuses in the thing that you would really agree on?
Yeah, I mean, I think that all of us, as far as we all have particular strengths, right? And everybody is an individual. I don't think that our current system, the system we use, teaches creativity. I don't know how you do that, though. I think if someone actually found a way to teach creativity, they'd probably be very, very rich by now. The people who are successfully creative will always probably be a very small portion of society. I think that the person who had the person who invented the computer didn't have one. So I think we're always looking for ideals in terms of education. I think that we're not going to find one. What would look like? What would an ideal school situation look like? What I agree with is that we do miss out on the individual. We don't take the individual into account at all times. I don't think someone who is an art person or a music person should be killed because they didn't do well in chemistry. You know what I mean? So I would like a little bit more individualism within the system. How that would look or how we do that in a realistic manner, I don't know.
All right. And do you think there should be a class in high school where we thought about the world, like taxes, credit, and education that we don't usually get from our main courses?
So life skill stuff.
Yeah, life
Yeah,
skills.
I do. I think that's very important because it's all well and good learning what we learn, but then we have to be able to do things in real life as well. I think there's a lot of value in tying a lot of these things together, and that's, again, going back to this, he talks about making connections, and that's where I think transdisciplinary learning comes in really important.
Well, that definitely is something that you should learn either with your parents, but definitely school maybe should have an elective for juniors and seniors, how to become an adult. It's not something you just know, you turn 18 automatically you're an adult. No, there's lots of things that you have to learn.
So, is there anything in the video that you disagree with?
Well, I don't really disagree with any of it. It's, again, there's a lot of general statements. So, like I said, there are school systems that are letting students down. There's no doubt about that. There are school systems that employ practices that are ineffective. I hope students don't view grades as in a competitive way. However, I know that human nature is such that it's really difficult to kind of eradicate that from our psyches.
That's I think for a long time people were like, why aren't kids more motivated? Why aren't these kids taking advantage and being more intrinsically motivated? Why do they care so much about grades? Well, because they're forced to be here. It's not like a kid has a choice to be here. The reality is we force them to be here. So the thing is, and a lot of people, like, you might have something you really like to do, right? You really love it. But once it becomes a job or you're forced to do it, you might not love it as much. So how do we get over that in a school setting? I don't know.